Have you ever stopped and wondered what it really means to live a principled life? I mean, especially today, in a world that so often seems to reward the exact opposite? Well, today, we're going to dive into the really powerful philosophy of a man who chose a totally different path, a man who just refused to sell himself. Right at the heart of his entire worldview is this one simple idea that our own dignity is the most valuable thing we have. It's the ultimate currency. This belief, you'll see, is the bedrock for every single choice he makes. It's a simple idea, but it's a profound starting point for a pretty remarkable way to live. So, to really get a handle on the choices this man made, we first have to try and see the world through his eyes. He was a really sharp observer of the society around him. And frankly, what he saw is what set him off on this very unique journey. He looked around and he saw this frantic race, a world just packed with people chasing status, scrambling for a little bit of influence, and, as he puts it so vividly, collecting scraps from the tables of others. To him, it was just this scene of constant and ultimately hollow striving. But here's the thing that's really incredible. His response to all this chaos? He didn't jump in the race. He didn't stand on the sidelines and judge everybody. He just made a conscious, quiet choice to smile and step away. He chose not to play the game at all. Now, stepping away, that wasn't a passive thing, not at all. It was actually the first step in creating his own code, his own personal law for how to get through the world with his principles totally intact. So let's take a look at the rules he actually set for himself. And here it is, laid out so clearly. You can see the two paths. On one side, you've got the life he flat out rejected, running after positions, bowing down to other people, getting tangled up in falsehoods. And on the other side, the path he chose, to simply live upright, to stick with a small circle of sincere people, and to choose a meaningful isolation over a totally meaningless crowd. This whole idea was anchored in this incredibly deep sense of freedom and self-respect. For him, bowing to another person just to get ahead in the world, well, that was a humiliation that no free person should ever have to accept. That kind of reverence, in his mind, was for God and God alone. And this way of thinking wasn't just for his career or his public life. No, it was deeply personal. It stretched all the way into the people he allowed into his inner circle. He had a very, very deliberate way of choosing his friends. I mean, what a powerful way to put it. Just think about that for a second. A painter doesn't just randomly grab any color off the shelf, right? They're meticulous. They know that every single choice of color affects the entire masterpiece. And that's exactly how he thought about friendships, like a true art form. So what were these pure colors that he was looking for? Well, it had nothing to do with superficial charm or how someone looked. It was all about the beauty of their soul, the beauty of their actions, and the beauty of their words. Those were the only qualities that made it onto his palette. So why was he so darn selective? Well, it's because he believed in what you might call a contagion of ugliness. He truly felt that if you surround yourself with people of poor character, with sick souls, you will, inevitably, become sick yourself. For him, the company we keep directly shapes who we are. It's that simple. Okay, so a man lives by this kind of code. He says no to the rat race for status, and he's incredibly picky about his friends. So what's the payoff? At the end of his life, what does he really have to show for it? How does he measure his own success? Well, by the world's standards, absolutely nothing. 0 palaces, 0 fortunes amassed. If you were to draw up a standard balance sheet of his life, the asset column would be completely empty. But of course, that's not the whole story. Because his balance sheet just didn't measure his true riches. His wealth wasn't something you could count in a bank account. No, it was found in the beautiful impact in the eyes of those I loved. That was his real treasure, completely intangible, and to him, infinitely more valuable. And there it is, the final accounting. His net worth was a clear conscience. The ultimate prize, really the only one that mattered, was being able to look back on his life and know for sure that he was always true to himself. That integrity, that was his fortune. So when it's all said and done, what is the lasting legacy of life lived this way? It's not going to be fame or power or a name carved into a monument. It's something much quieter, but maybe much more powerful. His legacy is really a simple act of resistance. He doesn't see himself as some kind of hero from the history books. His claim to fame is much simpler, and I think much more profound. He was a man who stayed honest when it felt like everyone around him was selling their integrity for the cheapest price. It all comes down to this one simple line, doesn't it? The perfect epitaph. A final, powerful summary of his entire life's philosophy. More than any award or achievement, this is how he wanted to be remembered. It's the ultimate testament to his code. And so his story really brings the question right back to us, doesn't it? He measured his life not by what he gained, but what he refused to lose, his dignity. Which kind of leaves us with a final thought. When all is said and done, what is the impact you are leaving behind? And what's the price that you are unwilling to pay?